What's so funny, TSM?
I've been raising awareness, protecting the kids. Homie, you know what it is. It's college protecting against a disaster. In case a disaster come here, that's what I said. In case you ain't here, get the blessing all these children. Against violence and disaster, we protecting all these children. We are the children protection. We are the world's protection. We are the children protection. We are the world's projection. We are the children protection. We are the world's projection. We are the children protection. We are the world's projection.
Hey, my chain breakers, what's going on? You guys, I have a story that is really disturbing, okay? And the parents that have children that are in high school age level now, you better be very careful and pay attention to the curriculum. Family members that have, family that is in high school, ninth grade on up, you need to check out that curriculum because right now, I don't know what's going on, but they have been targeting blacks and Latinos for quite some time right now. Okay, for the military. All right. So let me get into this story. This story comes from CNN, but it's mainly talking about Chicago, and it went from Chicago to a lot of other states. So I'm gonna try to give you a briefing of what's going on. There's a young man. He's black. Let me read this. Mandatory military instruction affect blacks and Latino high school students most frequently, report says, and this came out yesterday. So there's this young man named Trevor Reed, and he was automatically enrolled into the ROTC program, something that he did not want to do, right? So his mom went to send emails to the school, to the administrator. She sent letters to the Department of Defense sponsored youth military program and the principal at his school, which is Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. College Preparatory High School. All right. So she wanted to have an alternative, for her son. And to her surprise, they told her no. So let me go ahead and I'm going to get right here at the point where she said, could her son enroll in an online class that would meet the requirements for the health credit? But the message Ms. Reed received, this is what she told CNN. She heard from the school administration and they told her, quote, end quote, it's either our way or the highway or he don't graduate. So now I'm finding out that a lot of these students are taking these ROTC military preparation classes and they're telling them that they have to take these classes, but it's supposed to be a voluntarily taken class. But now they're telling you, no, you got to take this. Either you do it or your child doesn't graduate. Guess what? I just won't graduate. So, like I said, it's out of Chicago, and they abbreviated the school, okay? CPS Local School Council, which approves curriculum and budgets, started looking into the JROTC programs reach in Chicago and discovered that the JROTC was being made mandatory beyond her son's school, okay? And there was a racial component. They were targeting blacks and Latinos. A May 2022 CPS Inspector General's report found schools with 90% or more freshmen enrolled in the ROTC were almost on what, like the south side and the west side of Chicago is what they're saying. It was almost all the kids on the west side and the south side of Chicago that they were mandatorily enrolling into these programs, okay? So CPS says it has vowed to adopt all recommendations coming out of the report and has created a universal participation consent form. But even though they have a universal participation consent form, they're still making this class mandatory for blacks and Latinos, you guys. This is the thing that I'm trying to get you guys to focus on. Your family member going to school, they're not just going to be able to say, well, no, I want to take this class. No, you got to take this class. We need to start speaking up as parents, and a lot of times they threaten parents. Oh, I'm going to call Child Protective Services on you if we don't get our way. Well, guess what? Then we need to start suing those schools for making false allegations and all these different things that they're doing. We need to go after them, and then we need to sue the teachers individually. And I guarantee you, when we start suing these teachers for putting up false allegations and coming up with dumb ideas, to talk about they're going to call CPS and there's no harm to the child, you need to feel some of whatever it is that I'm about to go through. And not only that, I'm going to use what you own to pay for my struggles to get my kids back. Okay, so that's how we're going to work that out. So, yet, too many of the most vulnerable kids here in the community have already been exploited, Reed told CNN. What we noticed about the 12 schools that we researched is that not only were they black and brown, but these are some of the poorest neighborhoods in Chicago, she said, okay? The Department of Defense told CNN the department strongly maintains that participation in the JRTC program is voluntarily elected. That's a lie. That's a total lie, because there are so many parents that are speaking out now against this, saying that they're being told that no, your kid cannot have an alternative class. It has to be that one. So how is that an elective? How is that something you can choose to do or not to do when you're trying to militarize my kids, my nephews, my nieces, my neighbors, my cousins, my grandchildren, whoever, my brother, my sister? It don't matter. You know what I'm saying? So I don't believe them. A recent New York Times investigation found that requiring students to enroll in JROTC reaches far beyond Chicago, where CPS and JROTC leaders proudly state they have the largest JROTC program in the country in number of cadets and total programs. And I guess they should say and. So some of the words are misspelled and it throws me off. When you hear me pause or try to scramble, is because some of the words are not the appropriate words, and I have to find the word quickly so that I can get this story out to you guys. And I hope that you guys can, forgive me for my slip-ups. Okay, here we go. The information the Times acquired from more than a couple hundred open record requests revealed that the vast majority of schools affected are predominantly attended by students of color and kids who live in households with low incomes. Based on an analysis of Army data, the Times discovered at schools where at least 75% of freshmen attending JROTC classes. More than 80% of the schools had student population with mostly black and Latino kids. In response to the Times findings, the DOD told CNN the department works hard to advance racial equality and support underserved communities. JROTC programs are widely distributed throughout the nation. The DOD said more than 3,400 schools in all 50 states and 4 U.S. territories currently host a JROTC class. The department said it's investing $425.4 million in the program this year alone. So they are working overtime to get your kids, all right? As part of his work with Quaker organization American Friends Service Committee, Jesus Palafox, I don't know the rest of the name, so I'm not going to trot it, all right? Valdovinius I guess that's how you say it, was pulling data on JROTC enrollment practices in Chicago at the same time as Reed, the mother from Chicago. And that's the young boy, Trevor, that found out that he had to absolutely enroll into one of those JROTC classes or he would not be able to graduate. The 33-year-old activist said as a student, he got a call to join JROTC at his Chicago high school, which he said military recruiters frequented. There were 4 recruiting stations within about a block and a half of the school. And so there was a heavy percentage of military recruiters there, you guys, at the time. So this is what they're doing. You don't need all those recruitment offices that close. You know what I'm saying? So they make all these promises and let me keep reading because I can go. At the time, Curie High School was the most diverse school in the city, but predominantly the student body was a student of color. Okay, I'm just going to say the first name, Palafox told CNN. Some schools wholeheartedly opted at least one grade into JROTC, point to funding issues. So in Chicago, the CPS Inspector General found principal's reason for 90+% freshman JROTC enrollment rates centered on 2 themes: physical education and funding. It said principals share they either lost a PE teacher, couldn't hire a new one, or couldn't afford one. So students were placed in JROTC as an accepted substitute to physical education, a class CPS requires to graduate. First of all, military is not physical education. You know what I'm saying? So don't feed me that BS. Y'all trying to play with words. And see, this is what happened when you don't pay attention, when people know how to play around with words. You know what I'm saying? So that they can get you to agree with them. That's what's been going on since this whole get down. They've been playing with words to try to sway you and to make you think it means one thing, but it actually means another thing. So I'm not buying none of it. You know, you can get people, there are people that will volunteer, you know, to help these students and to, you know, go out there and teach a class. Some people will volunteer. They don't have a job and they want something to do and they feel like volunteering. You can find some PE teachers, just get the background checks and all that good old stuff and see how it works out. And when some funding come through, just break them off something. You know what I'm saying? You got coaches, parents that coach that don't get paid. They do it because they love the sport and they love to see kids play and they want to see these kids advance. So don't come reading me and writing this bull crap when plenty of people out here every day volunteer and don't get paid to volunteer. So I don't want to hear that. You know what I'm saying? So let me continue. The report said some principals conceded that JRTC saved their school money since CPS and the DOD shared the cost of JROTC instructors, while PE teachers' salaries come out of the school's budget. Okay, like I said, you can get some teachers that will volunteer. You got women, you got men. You can do background checks, an extensive, background check. Some people have to actually, when they want to get their degrees, they have to volunteer a certain amount of time and get those credits in order to graduate. So don't come playing games with me. And I tell you, like a registered nurse, she has to go somewhere and volunteer her time his time too for at least 2 years in order to get the acquired amount of skills, person-to-person skills that they need in order to totally complete the class and to graduate. So don't come telling me no BS like that. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to hear it. There are other ways to get these classes cracking. All right. You can even get students to volunteer as an elective so that they can go ahead and, graduate. So I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear that. We had, when I was going to school, which wasn't long ago, but when I was going to school, my health education teacher was my PE teacher. You know what I'm saying? So this is the role that they took, and he volunteered because it was a part of track and field, and he loved track and field. So he would do the track and field, and that was the sixth grade, sixth period elective. You know what I'm saying? That was the sixth period elective, and he would do it for free because he loved the sport. So don't come telling me that you can't find the budget. Find some of these schools, some of these people that are graduated, and put some post on your website saying, hey, if you need credits to volunteer to graduate here, you have to do at least a whole 6 months to a year. You know what I'm saying? And some people may enjoy it so much, they may come back and just say, forget it, I'll just volunteer, Hey, so don't feed me this BS. Now they said parents are questioning the school's policy. In Fort Myers, Florida, Julio Mejia believes schools should invest in at least one option outside of JROTC. He says he saw a red flag in 2019 when his daughter brought home a waiver saying if she were hurt in JROTC class, she never signed up for it. The Army and Fort Myers School were not liable if she was to be hurt. That's BS. I'm not about to sign that. And he said, I shouldn't have to sign an injury waiver for school for my kid to graduate from high school. That's insane. Mejia says he fought her enrollment into the program, but the school administration, I hate when people call me when I'm in the middle of a story. The school administration insisted the class was required for graduation. Okay, so if it was required, where did you get the word voluntary from? Where does that word come into play? That's what I mean by it. They play around with words and try to insult your intelligence. People, you need to stop listening and believing everything that these people are saying on these TV shows, the news. You need to start reading stuff for yourself. When you start reading and looking at stuff for yourself, you'll start seeing the indiscrepancies that people are giving you. You can't tell me that if this program is voluntary, now all of a sudden you saying that this program, is like a mandatory. Come on now. Somebody lying, and it ain't me. You get what I'm saying? And why should you have to fight in order for them not to be enrolled in a class that you say is voluntary? So there's another lie. Somebody needs to answer some questions. I'm telling y'all better stop sleeping on these people, because these people are crafty. They coming after your kids any which way they can. So you better start opening your eyes. I'm telling you, it's like they're trying to militarize the whole school. What's going to happen? You're going to start doing it to the first graders? You're going to start doing it to the junior high schoolers? What the heck is going on with you guys? You know what I'm saying? If you treated your people better in your country, well, maybe somebody would want to volunteer. You know what I'm saying? But they don't seem to get no love. You got veterans that have fought in many different wars, and they're out there homeless. They should never be homeless. That's the last people should be homeless on this earth. Those are the last people should ever want anything on this earth. They went out there and they fought so that we can have freedom. So why are they homeless? You know what I'm saying? Why are they suffering? Why are they not getting the best care? Why not? So I think it's just ridiculous that the military has an all-volunteer army, but we're going to force high school kids to take the military classes. It makes no sense. Mejia told CNN, calling it indoctrination. What country makes kids take military classes in order to graduate from high school? Exactly. That's why I say they're full of popcorn. They're lying, okay? And then they said the appeal of the military. Aguirre, chair and professor of sociology at the University of California, Riverside, sees the program as a way to recruit service members. Following the end of the draft in the 1970s, he said young minorities have long been presented with the military pathway as a way to improve their quality of life. It's attractive because of the high poverty rates that they have to deal with, limited educational pathways. You have somebody that comes in and say, sign up, come join us, Aguirre told CNN. And not all students and parents are critical of the JROTC. In Pike County, Alabama, where the most recent census data show more than half of the residents are white, Jeremy Knox, the Career and Technical Education Director for Pike County Schools, told CNN all ninth grade at the county's two high schools are automatically enrolled in JROTC in addition to English, math, science, and history classes. Knox says it has nothing to do with race for the more than 230 freshmen participating in activities including marksmanship, cyber orienteering, archery, drilling, and ceremony. I'm sorry, where'd I get crematory from? I don't know, y'all. My brain is somewhere else. The leadership skills that they gain and citizenship skills they have gained are second to none. Knox says there's a place for everybody in it, okay? So it allows a student to come in that may not have the best study habits or may not have the best social skills or may not know maybe what they want. But you're telling me the JROTC is going to help them do this. This is what you're telling me. I don't know about y'all, but when you hear me pausing, like I said, you have people that's calling. I got my ringer off so it doesn't bother me, but I have to wait until these people finish like calling my phone. That's why you see me continuously talking. Okay, so let me go ahead. I'm going to skip down because this is such a long story, okay? So the DOD says, since JROTC formed in 1916, the program has taught kids valuable lessons. What, how to fight? Come on now. JROTC instills in students the value of citizenship, services to the United States, including an introduction to service opportunities in military, national and public services, and personal responsibility and a sense of accomplishment, the department told CNN. I don't believe none of it, okay? I don't believe none of it. But back in Chicago, Reed says her son Trevor bristled when recruiters showed up at her house. They tried to convince him to join the Army services. She said now he's a sophomore attending community college studying computer science. Parents should definitely be more aware of the positions that they can hold in their child's educational career and their socioeconomic status and where they live. Come on, stop calling. Okay, let me go. And their socioeconomic status and where you live at shouldn't be what type of education your child should receive, she said. So that was the story about how these military people are targeting your children. And again, I'm sorry about all the bloops and blunders, but you know, people feel like they want to keep calling you. If I don't answer the first, second time, third time, fourth time, fifth time, you know, send me a text message. I normally let you know if I don't answer you the first time that I'm doing a story. So, you know, I guess people just a little bit slower than me. Just kidding. But I guess people are slow. They don't listen. But you guys, leave your comments below. Let me know what you think about this mandatory military class that these kids of color have to take, all right? And then you have this guy talking about it has nothing to do with color. You know, when you got thousands of black and brown taking a class versus 230, you can't tell me nothing. But anyway, you guys, thank you for listening. Take care, and I will talk to you guys in the next video. God bless you. Peace.